Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and in this video we're just going to be talking about Beerus. It's basically widely considered Beerus is the worst character in the game, and this video is just kind of looking at why is he the worst character in the game. Pretty much nobody disputes it, right? But for some people you might not realize just the issues he has at play, and he also has some strengths that aren't immediately obvious as well, right? So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that too, but once again, it's just kind of the community opinion. Beerus is simply the worst. And why is that? So let's talk at a bit more of a universal issue that kind of plagues a lot of characters, and that's simply less about him up front here and more about his assist. Beerus has, simply put, one of the most lackluster assists in the game. And in this game, anyone with a not amazing assist, honestly, makes you a much more lackluster, much less attractive pick on your team. It is that cut and dry. There is some value to his assist, just like there's some value to every kind of assist. For example, you can get a Dragon Rush in a corner with it if you time your combos right. That's something that's always handy to have, but just, it's not great. One thing too is the orb doesn't stick around if it doesn't connect. The projectile speed is not amazing. It is a weak projectile, meaning the enemy can dash through it with a homing dash. So something even as simple as this, it ain't gonna save you in any way, shape, or form, right? It's a weak projectile, just as it is a regular move. So it's not gonna be able to protect you in a horizontal front, like say, the old beam assist from Goku can, or just a variety of other moves, right? And yeah, sure, you can homing dash through Vegeta's, but Vegeta's got a lot going for it, so that's kind of the only weakness of that assist. But yeah, as an unattractive assist, it makes him an unattractive pick, and that's just kind of knock number one. This is true for a lot of characters with assists that don't blow people's minds, but still for Beerus, that's the big knock, at least starting off with it. Now, a very, very large part of why he's not a very good character happens just to come down all to his normals. Now, if you played around at all, everyone knows about the Standlight, right? And yeah, the Standlight did get buffed in the most recent big balance patch, but it's still not amazing. Like, it still misses from a lot of different ranges. But let's just talk about some basic stuff here, like simple things like the mediums. Catching people with a medium is a really good way to get a lot of damage to combo because you're not going to scale your combo in any way, shape, or form. And his are just slow. Like, let's just look at stand medium, right? And I got 3 enemy characters here with comparable stand mediums in terms of, like, reach. Will Beerus' stand medium reach from this far out? No, it'll just barely miss. Will Captain Ginyu's reach from that far out? Yeah, it'll just barely hit. So, well, his is a further range move, so it should be a worse move, right? No. So Captain Ginyu's stand medium, which does hit from the round 1 fight position, starts up in 11 frames. So once again, just on the off chance you're not familiar with frame data, this game runs at 60 frames a second. So for Ginyu, it'll take 11 of those 60 frames to have his fist be able to connect and hit the active opponent, right? So it is 11 frames. How fast is Beerus's, which does not go as far? His is 12. It is worse, straight up. Now, you could argue, sure, okay, maybe he's not supposed to be Ginyu. Ginyu does have better normals than most of the cast, sure. So let's tag in Broly. So Broly, if you're not aware of the character, if you are, you probably know I'm a big fan of the character myself. So he's got this guy here. So that also hits at the round 1 fight position. And not only does it hit the round 1 fight position, it's armored too, so he can actually armor through a move you're doing. And how fast does that start up compared to Beerus's 12 frames? Well, this move also starts up in 11 frames, so it is still 1 frame faster than Beerus's, hits further away, and has armor. So what's old Beerus gonna do? Now let's take someone else here with a standing normal. I'm sure you guys all love to hate here, and that's old adult Gohan. He's got this bad boy here. Now this bad boy, it doesn't hit from full screen from the round 1 fight position, right? So it is just like Beerus in that it will miss. So that's something, right? But how fast is Gohan's version of that move? So he doesn't quite have the range. So does he have an 11 framer like Broly does, like Captain Ginyu does? No. His stand medium is 9 frames. So it is 3 full frames faster than Beerus's. So they have similar range, although Gohan's is a bit longer. And that's just basically one of the symptoms of the problem of he has moves that have a little bit of range, because, you know, a lot of characters don't have stand mediums that go this far, and that's fine, right? But we have 3 characters that are directly comparable, and 2 of them have more range for less frames, and 1 has armor, and 1 who has a directly comparable move has a wildly faster version of the same style of move. And speaking of comparable moves, I'm sure you guys all well know about Beerus' down medium, right? So we have here Trunks and also Gohan. They also have comparable down mediums as they are sliding down mediums. And what's the deal with these guys? Well, these guys both hit in 12 frames. Beerus, the earliest possible he can hit is 13. So his move is just strictly worse. It's a frame slower, and I know 1 frame's not the end of the world, but, you know, this game is won and lost on frames, and, you know, a sneak down medium might be exactly what the doctor ordered, you know, once again leading to a no scaling high damage combo. And yes, you could argue Beerus can do his a lot further away than those guys can. Obviously, Trunks ain't connecting from that far away where Beerus can. But to do this from full screen is basically asking to lose a character, to be brutally honest with you. Very few people are going to get bamboozled by this at anything other than the lower, you know, levels of play. And not to say it's impossible for someone to get hit by it, but, you know, it's not realistically going to happen. From generally speaking, you want the sweet spot range, from which Trunks and Gohan, who have very similar style moves, are strictly superior. So on just these 2 fronts here I'm just showing, and this is true for a lot of his numbers, I'm not going to go through every single move, but just this is kind of symptomatic of a lot of his problems, is his frame data on his moves are bad. Now, another reason why he's not very good, and honestly I'm sure everyone clicking this video, you all know what's up here. It's the core of the character, and that's the sphere of energy here, the little orbs. And the orbs are just not very good. You can do a lot of cool things with orbs, you know. You can kick them around here. You can sneeze them out. You can knock them into weird angles, right? You can do neat little corner setups, right? Where you can do neat little setups here, like, hey, I'm doing my corner combo. And cool, deal with this on Wake Up. And hey, that's actually kind of annoying, you know. It's one of Beerus' better strengths, to be brutally honest. But just the act of setting these things up is just kind of wasting your time, to be brutally honest. Because once again, if you're not aware, the enemy can, for free, homing dash through the stuff, right? And ruin all your setup. Like, if you want to do something big ol', you know, get that set up awesome, then hey, I'm going to screen them everywhere on the screen, right? Homing dash beats that for free, even at the highest levels of play. Homing dashes from anything other, like, I guess, like full screen, you know, happen all the time. And so all your setup is literally for nothing, right? But that's supposed to be the core of his game plan, and that's the problem. And then kind of another symptomatic issue of that problem is, okay, well, I'm going to bait your homing dash, right? Well, yeah, his down heavy sucks. Like, one thing you could say is decent about it, which doesn't come up as often as Nappa, is it actually does hit both sides. So you can, like, miss and actually hit a homing dash behind you or something, but the zone that it wants to hit is very narrow. Let's put it that way. For someone who maybe, if that's the whole intention of this stuff, is to bait homing dashes, his ability to actually capture on the opportunity to bait the homing dash is not awesome, because that down heavy sucks. But yeah, so this is a core feature of the character, and it's just simply not very good, which is very, very disappointing. So before we get any further about what we can do about stuff, let's actually just talk about some of the positives he has. So it's sometimes simple stuff like this, like, you know, how many characters do you know can burn 4 bars in one combo? Because Beerus can, right? Not a lot of characters can do that, and actually that's not even the max, because if you do Spark, you can get more than that. But anyways, so this is obviously a trait that's pretty dang good, that he can dump a lot of bars solo, no assists needed at all. Now, another thing I noticed a lot of people don't seem to know about Beerus, he has the ability for a bar to steal a turn, basically, whenever he wants in a block string. So EX orbs here, as you notice there, you can actually hold up or down. So if you hold up, see, he kicks kind of higher than usual, and you only hit the top one. And we'll clear these guys out here. And if you hold down, you'll only hit the bottom one, leave the higher up one, just kind of leave them there. And if you just hold it regularly, he hits both, right? So if you hold the down one specifically, he's advantage on block. And let's see what happens here if I put it to the test here against these plus on block moves. Oh, hey, I win. So it's literally that simple. Like, Go Tanks. used to have an on-demand plus on-block move with EX spin, and that had to be nerfed, right? Granted, it's actually a lot better move than this, but just to show you, right? So for the price of a bar, he can continually keep taking turns over and over till someone cracks. That's something, you know, characters don't really have. Now, is this enough to make him out of bottom tier? No, obviously not, right? But, you know, he has tools that sometimes people aren't necessarily aware of, and that's one of them. So, what can be done to fix Beerus? So, first up, to me, this is number one, the bullet. He needs less bad normals. It's just really cut and dry like that. His normals are not good, and they need to be better. Stuff like this, if this, considering the slow startup it has, as we talked about earlier, has to remain the same frame rate, I should have, like, should be able to hit from here or something. He should just glide across, just like, you know, his down medium, and just be able to just coconut smash people with his noggin there. But yeah, just that, honestly, it needs better frame data, because like a similar move like Adult Gohan is way faster than that, and that kind of speaks with a lot of normals. Stand Heavy is actually not bad, as it has what we call disjointed hitbox, as it hits quite a bit further than his actual horrible box is, but even then, you know, it misses from here. Like, how many characters have a Stand Heavy that miss from this far away? Not many. And yet Beerus has one that misses from this far away. Needs more range. Basically, obviously the down medium has the range, but nothing else does, and everything else is slow. Generally speaking, in fighting game logic, if it's long range, it should be slow. If it's short range, it should be quick. And he follows neither of these guidelines. So that's just kind of number one, the bullet, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I guess the big one is simply the orbs. What to do with the orbs? I'm the firm belief that orbs can't be full projectiles. They just can't be. It'll screw up too many matchups, because too many characters basically could not deal with it in any reliable way. If this was just a true wall, a lot of characters would be out to pasture. Now, I've seen a lot of people just kind of put out ideas, and I'm just going to talk about a couple here, and two in particular I quite like. One, an orb is a real projectile, but only after you hit it. After you hit it, it's a real projectile. So you still have to do the time to set up, and then, you know, whatever to hit it, and then it's a real projectile, which I think is fair. So it still has the weakness while you're setting it up, right? But it can be more valuable after you hit it. Or secondarily, which I also like this idea, after a set amount of time, it could be like 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever frames, right? After a certain amount of time goes by, a certain amount of frames elapse, the orb can like change color or something, and after that time, the orb is now a real projectile that cannot homing dash through in any way, shape, or form. It could be halfway through its life, could be earlier, probably not later, kind of cut the usefulness of it. But after a bit, if the orb manages to stay on screen, then say you turn it red or something, I don't know, and then it becomes a real projectile. And that either of these two options would add a lot more value of the move, other than, you know, hey, Beerus does this, and now he's in his full protection zone because they're all full projectiles and nobody can get in, right? Anyone without a real projectile, like, you know, say Teen Gohan, in this specific scenario would literally be SOL, as he's in this magic protection cave where someone like Teen Gohan couldn't touch him if these were all real projectiles. Another thing that would be really good for Beerus, which honestly we cannot do at the moment, it's no real mystery that there will be a Season 2 for the game, because the game is wildly successful, and usually with the Season 2, a new revision comes, you know, hey, a character might get a new move. And honestly, a new move might just be what the doctor ordered for Beerus to kind of fill a gap. But yeah, as it stands, you know, obviously he's a weak character. And the fact that he has a meterless invincible reversal in this is a full invincible move, should say everything about his poor state when someone has a meterless invincible reversal and still not considered not only not good, but the worst character in the game. Anyway, so that's just me just kind of putting some long-form thought into it, just talking about it. We all know Beerus is bad, but maybe some of you guys might not appreciate why he's bad, and honestly, hey, these are some reasons. Obviously, a lot of people find the dichotomy of the potential strongest character in the lore being the weakest character in the game, you know, something to kind of scoff at. And hopefully, we know this game ain't done being balanced. There'll be more balance patches. There'll be, once again, the season revision. That's kind of guaranteed. So Beerus isn't done forever. But for right now, the poor boy ain't the best. You know, at least he's still got some stuff. Like, hey, his level 3 is one of the best scaling level 3s in the game. So that's something. And he gets decent Oki because that's, like, basically guaranteed. So you have to guess lower throw right away. So that's something. But yeah, overall, Beerus, he ain't very good. And hopefully in time, that can change. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. This video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.